Hello, you guys. How's it going? How you doing? I'm doing great. I'm actually doing okay. I don't know why whenever I always start with "Hey, you guys, how's it going?" Then British accent. Not sure why I do that. Um, my hair is up today. How do we feel about that? Let me know in the comments. Just kidding. I know nobody's gonna fucking say anything about that. Dude, this job, man. Like, I feel burnt out already and angrier. I've talked about this in therapy. I have a suspicion that I am very susceptible to my environment. So, I feel like wherever I am or whoever I'm around long enough, their mood tends to affect me a lot quicker than most. How also another thing that I've been kind of flagging in the back of my mind, I should not be comparing my well-being to others, you know? I'm not talking about your superficial comparisons. I'm talking about like, oh, I do this a little slower. Oh, I take time with this, or some people, like their time management, little nitty-gritty things. I just I tend to compare and then assume my life is shit. And like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to get myself out of that headspace. But anywho, yeah, I'm very susceptible to my environment, and my boss just like is so particular, meticulous, OCD, like genuine OCD. I'm not talking about as a joke, because I have OCD, and I see it in him, and he's admitted to it, or he's not admitted to it. I don't know, something about maybe I am just diagnosing without any credibility, but I think he has it. And that being said, he is very particular about the way he goes about, like, his procedure, and it is eating me alive. Okay. It fucking is, because when he's mean to like the project manager is mean to me. I don't need this. I do not need this. I do not live for you. I do not live for your mantra. I do not care enough. Okay, I have bigger responsibilities and bigger fish to fry. But however, it is my job, so I kind of do have to care. And it has been affecting my mood, so I'm a little angrier. I've just become a little bit more, and I've become aware of that. My best friend was like, "Hey, you have been angrier lately." And the reality check is something that was so necessary, and she's my best friend. She can only say it. um, but no, I'm kidding. Like, other people can let me know what's wrong. But yeah, man, I don't know. I didn't really want to talk about this, but I guess we're talking about it, and I just either I either I have to learn how to speak up and say, "Hey, like, your moods are affecting me," or in a more professional way, I guess I could say, or learn how to mitigate my own emotions. Like, I really have only the two options, or just be complacent, which sometimes I really am. Like, I feel like I'm falling back with my mental health. Like, I'm well generally, and I've gotten into the habit of having more of a compassionate inner monologue, one that is supportive, and that's where I always loop it back to, like, be careful who you're around, because it will affect your inner monologue and how you perceive life and yourself. And thankfully, being around my family so much, has just, they have basically inundated me with positivity, and I'm lucky to have compassionate thoughts towards myself. However, I should learn how to manage on my own. And I haven't been giving enough time to my mental health. Like, I feel like there's some things I could be working on regarding self-esteem that I just put in the back burner. Um, Honestly, because at the forefront of my mind is work. Like, not my corporate day-to-day job. Like, I'm talking about the real work, the stuff we live for, whatever Dead Poet Society said. I I'm focusing on that. So I have, I have one project I'm gonna go talk to my cousin about today. Then I have, my book series going, and then I have the banana project, and I have the banana proof of concept, and then I was thinking about writing another script, and I just submitted a script, but I don't know if I want to edit it. But anyway, there's so much, and I'm really, like, I think I just fear that feeling of being content. Holy shit, I think I might be saying something really profound here, because I find it validating and rewarding to be stressed about something that I care about. Could be that. Could be that. Well, yeah, so that's usually taking place at the top of my priorities, and therefore a lot of the internal mess that I need to ameliorate falls in the back burner. So anyway, and this isn't really what I wanted to talk about. I just keep going. What I wanted to talk about was something that is pertinent to my nature. It's not a specificity of like whatever chapter I'm going through right now. Rather, this is like something about me. And about me, well, a little bit about me, is I hate being practical. Like, I just can't for the life of me get around to it. Sometimes it's counterproductive. Most times, very liberating. Way to live. Key to life. That's how I feel. I have been adverse to the term since it was conscientiously introduced to me at the ripe age of fucking 12, you know? Hate that word because it dulls the shine of life, and life is supposed to be rambunctious and colorful, and you know, there's like there's ebb and flow to it, and you go through the practical route, and you I guess you kind of avoid the scenic route. And you know, I've been against it, and honestly I think that's a fundamental characteristic or a notion that I believe in because I pursued writing, you know, like and how I pursued writing was quite impractical, you know. So it is, you know, part of my like identity's makeup, and I find it, you know, like I said, like I think it's not really the way to live, you know, because then you I guess hinder yourself from opportunities that really give you that wisdom that you might not have had because you shelter yourself from it. You know, I used to be against the thought that experience is the best teacher. You know, I wanted to be preemptive and, you know, a little bit more productive, and I would say it's easier to learn, you know, it's easier to learn from advice, from scriptures, whatever. I was really religious at the time. I have my own way of looking at religion. I gotta be careful about that, how I phrase it. But I was religious more so in the jurisprudence sense when I was younger, and therefore believed that, you know, you should be learning preemptively through advice tailored to you, as opposed to going through experience. There's a fucking AC again. Jesus Christ, man. It makes me feel like I'm in fucking Rainforest Cafe. You see, I'm getting angry as a person. But, yeah, so I don't really think that anymore because, to be honest, experience has taught me so much. And you know, I try to make it a habit to be insightful and reflective about whatever I've experienced. So I think not in comparison to anybody else, but for me, I've started to generate more not wisdom necessarily, but like caution for certain things, or just like a way of thinking, you know, and something conclusive to give peace to my life when going through hard times. That's why I like being reflective. It is very rewarding, you know. So I don't know. Experience is, I think, very important. I think that, you know, that is the way of life. I mean, I think it adheres to the physical constituents that we are born with. I mean, to have our senses means they need to be utilized, and to be retained in this like core temporal being, be it our brain. All of this information converges. You know, like these I guess like I don't know. I think of like, you know, I think of the body as this metaphorical representation of like how we should be living. You know, I often say, I've said it a couple times, that like we as a collective, as a humanity, you know, are in tune with consciousness. You know, like we as a whole represent obviously something that is extremely encompassing in the way of life, but also with, you know, with recognition of our individualistic experience, and that kind of ties into like the oneness and the concept of what I think is a higher being, and the higher being is kind of like an amalgamation of us, and we're just fragmented pieces, and our walk of life is relevant to the era that we're born into. I'm just jumping all over the place, but I think it serves some sort of relevance. And so tying it back to like experience, like I think our body was born to experience, right? You know, like, I mean, that's the whole point of evolution. And so to live by book and by word is to not live at all. Write that down. Ew, what kind of laugh is that? But okay. Anyway, that's just how I feel. And I don't know, like, for me, I cannot, like, fun has to be a priority in my life, you know? So, that being said, I don't really have a lot of money. I really don't. But I just bought myself a very nice car. So, yeah, it's not wise. Not wise at all. I'm happy, though. Literally living my dream. I don't give a shit. Like, I really love car. I think this whole video is a justification for me making this large purchase. Like, yeah, I want to drive. I want to hit the road and just drive. Like, that's really what I've always wanted to do. And like, learning about, like, I've always been fascinated by cars. My dad is the best driver I've ever seen my entire life, so it is a goal of mine to be as good as him. I'll never get there, but to be even close to even be compared to him is genuinely, Dad, I hope you relish this. It's an honor. It's an honor to be compared to my dad as a driver, as a person too. Love you, you know, but particularly right now as a driver, and he is fantastic, and I want to be as good as him. So I try to learn, and I have a notebook somewhere where I have a couple of pages dedicated to the mechanisms of a car and stuff like that, like torque and horsepower and like, I don't know, engine, stuff like that, you know. I want to learn it, and I also want to feel it in the car. Like, I want to understand the physics of driving, and, you know, going from one car to another, like the bigger differences that are worth admiring, that deserve admiration. Because I was driving a broken fucking, like, Toyota Avalon before this. Broken as fuck. Like, really bad. So I certainly am enjoying this car as much as I can. I want to even more so, with gratitude and appreciation for these things. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want to be practical. I don't ever want to really be practical. I like money. I like handling money. I like, you know, like, I love, you know, if I go on about, like, just, like, business, and really, like, I certainly enjoy the business end of film, which is why I like producing. I'm practical in that sense, you know? But that's because I see money as a game. I just think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to win. But apart from that, you know, you gotta enjoy life. You gotta do what your heart tells you to do, and you have to listen to it. You have to nurture, foster it, and then be in constant alignment with it. Because otherwise, you know, who are you living for? What a waste, right? You know, and I say this with recognition that there is some privilege here, and I've said that before many times. Because, you know, not everyone gets to live with the liberty and the opportunity that I have. You know, and I hope that when I reach a certain position in my life, that is like the overarching goal of everything, is to alleviate people's, you know, hindering circumstances, or ones that, you know, prevent them from living with the philosophies that I have. You know, I'm lucky that I even am able to. So yeah, that's about it. That's really about it, guys. I like this video. This was a good video. Yeah. Alright, anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, rest of your week, and I will see you later.